Welcome to a different type of video. I was lucky enough to go to the City of London in the UK recently, and while I was there was something that I wanted to see. I'm going to show you what I wanted to see. London 1888 wasn't one of the prettiest of places. Criminals ran amok. Prostitution was thriving during that time. It was London's East End was a place that you really didn't want to go, but in some cases you had no choice. It was the only place. Skip ahead to 2025. Whitechapel now. You wouldn't recognise it. However, during my trip, I did notice there was a lot of things still there that from 1888, Jack the Ripper walking the streets, he would have looked at certain things. I was lucky enough to actually document some of the things that Jack the Ripper would have seen, but also I wanted to actually just show you the downside of it. I wanted to show you where 3 out of the 5 canonical Jack the Ripper victims were found. Compare it to what it's like now in 2025 to what it was like in 1888. Short video, but it was an eye-opener. So let's start from the beginning. We're standing in an alleyway where a question is being asked, and that question is this: who was Jack the Ripper? I guess we'll never know, but I'm hoping to get to all the locations today where the 5 bodies were found. It's going to be a tough ask because the place is absolutely grand. This alleyway I'm standing in now totally stinks of piss, like really bad. So let's see if we can find where 5 canonical victims of Jack the Ripper were found. Let's go. Mary Ann Nichols, also known as Polly Nichols, was born on the 26th of August 1845. She died the 31st of August 1888, aged 43. At around 11 p.m. on the 30th of August 1888, Nichols was seen walking alongside Whitechapel Road. She visited a pub called the Frying Pan Pub. Not long later, Polly went to her lodgings, her Doss house, where the lodging manager there wanted his 4 pennies for Polly to stay the night. Polly didn't have the money, but she did reply saying, "I'll soon get me Doss money. See what a jolly bonnet I've got now." She left the lodging house, unfortunately never to return. Nichols was last seen alive at around 2:30 a.m. by a lady called Emily Holland. Holland said that Nichols was notably drunk. Standard. Holland actually wanted Nichols to go back to the lodging house. Holland actually offered to pay the money. Nichols refused and said, "Well, I've had my lodging money 3 times already tonight. I'll get it again, not a problem." At around 3:40 a.m, a guy named Charles Allen Cross discovered what he initially thought to believe tarpaulin lying on the ground outside the stables in Bucks Row. He basically thought to himself, that tarpaulin, I could do with that, it's worth a few quid, I might be able to get some money out of that. Upon inspecting what he found underneath chilled him to the core. She was found with her legs to the side, her dress over. She had her throat cut and she was disemboweled. So this all happened in Bucks Row. So this all happened on the 31st of August 1888. 137 years later, I go and witness the final location, if you like, of Polly's body. So this is Derwent Street. This would have been a building Jack the Ripper would have seen himself. Take a look at that, guys. And from around about this angle here, pointing in this direction, you would see exactly where the body of Mary Jane Nichols was found. So put you in this direction here. So there you can see is the Whitechapel station. And as you can probably see now, right next to it is the exact spot where Mary Ann Nichols' body was found. Crazy to think that. If we come down here and take you from sort of this angle here, there's a crime scene photograph. So, got a good view there. So this was formerly known as Bucks Row, now Derwent Street. It's weird to think that I'm actually here. It's just so weird to even think that a murder, the first of the canonical five, canonical, yeah, that's a good word, I like that. It was right there. Strange. In fact, I think it's more or less from this angle over here. There's a photograph taken. So yeah. This building you see I'm standing in front of now was actually here. It's just weird. This building could tell us exactly who Jack the Ripper was. And I'm standing here in front of it. Amazing. The second victim was a lady called Annie Chapman. She was born on the 25th of September 1840 and died on the 8th of September 1888, age 47. I didn't actually get to this particular location. The reason being is there was a market or something going on that day. There were a lot of people about and I couldn't actually get a clear shot of the place. There isn't a lot there. There isn't a lot there that looks anything like it was. I'll put a couple of pictures on the screen now from what it was like in 1888 to what it is like present day 2025, and as you can see there is a huge difference. I just couldn't actually get, unfortunately, to film that particular area on the day I was there. Annie was seen several times during the lead up to her death. For example, at 1:35 AM she was seen at the boarding house, the lodgings, eating a baked potato. She was asked to leave because she didn't have the DOS money, the 4 pennies for that night. And Mrs. Elizabeth Long testified that she saw Annie at around 5:30 AM on the morning of the 8th of September. But a guy named John Richardson testified that he entered the backyard of his home at around 5 a.m. Walked in, everything was fine. At around 5:15 a.m, a guy called Albert Kadosh, hope I've pronounced that right, went outside to use the toilet in the house next door, and he reportedly heard a woman yelling, "No, no, no." He didn't investigate the sounds he heard. Annie Chapman's mutilated body was found around 6 a.m. by an elderly resident of 29 Hanbury Street, John Davis. She was found with slash wounds to her throat and her abdomen severely mutilated. Scattered around her head, her body, were her belongings that she had on her at the time. Annie Chapman's throat had been cut that bad, that deep, you could see her vertebrae. She had also been disemboweled. Flesh from her stomach had been placed on her left shoulder. Unfortunately, like I said, I didn't get to go to the final place where she was found, but I just wanted to bring that up, and just for those who don't know anything about these people, I just wanted to let you know who they were and how they actually died. Next we take you to Elizabeth Stride. Now, the 30th of September 1888 was a bit of a crazy night. It was the night known as the double event, where two lives were taken by Jack the Ripper within an hour of each other. The first of those was a young lady called Elizabeth Stride. She was born on the 27th of November 1843. She was from Sweden. As previously mentioned, she died on the 30th of September 1888, aged 44 years old. On the 30th of September 1888, a police officer called William Smith saw Stride with a guy. Didn't find it suspicious, however he did actually notice that the man was holding onto a package around 18 inches in length, and they were standing near or outside the International Working Men's Educational Club. Between 12:35 a.m. and 12:45 a.m, a dock worker named James Brown, I feel good, saw a woman he believed to be Stride standing with her back against a wall at the corner of Berners Street. She was speaking to a guy wearing a long black coat, average height, and he actually heard Stride say, "Not tonight, maybe another night." At approximately 1 a.m. on Sunday the 30th, 1888, Stride's body was discovered in Dutfield's yard by a guy called Louis Dienschutz. I hope I pronounced that right, I'm really crap at this. He was the steward of the Working Men's Educational Club. He was driving his horse and cart back after being away selling jewellery, and his horse just stopped. Why is the horse stopping? He got out, he got off his horse, off the wagon, and he had one match. He struck the match, and it was a windy, rainy, horrible night that night. As soon as he struck the match, it pretty much went out, but what he saw was enough. He saw a woman lying on the ground. However, he didn't know what had gone on. He thought it was his wife who was drunk again. So he went into the Working Men's Club. First person he saw when he walked in was his wife. The police were obviously informed, and on arrival they found Stride's body with a single stab wound to the throat. Was this really Jack the Ripper? A lot of people say yes. The fact that blood was still protruding from the wound indicated that it had only just happened. The guy on his horse and cart had literally disturbed the murder. Imagine if it was a clear night and he would have struck that match and the light would have stayed ignited. could have technically been face to face with Jack the Ripper. Crazy. But it's believed that the Ripper did actually legitimately get disturbed. He left frustrated, extremely frustrated, so decided to head off to his next location, Mitre Square. Catherine Eddowes. She was born on the 14th of April 1842, near where I live, in Wolverhampton, in the West Midlands. She died on the 30th of September 1888, age 46. Now, the day before, Catherine got extremely drunk, to the point where she was arrested. She was in the cell until she was sober enough to be released back into the wild. And in doing so, just a few hours later, she'd be dead. Oh, bollocks. At 1 a.m, she was released. A few hours later, she'd be dead. Now, the area of Mitre Square was literally surrounded by buildings, warehouses, businesses, and Whitechapel at that time, like I said, was renowned for criminality. So once every 15 minutes, a police officer would walk around Mitre Square and report back to their superiors. The police officer in question left. So in the space of 14 minutes, Catherine Eddowes was in a bad way. Catherine was found extremely mutilated. She was found with her clothes drawn above the abdomen. Her thighs were naked. The left leg was extended in line with the body. The abdomen was exposed. Right leg bent at the thigh and knee. Her intestines had been drawn out to a large extent and placed over the right shoulder. And that is really all I can say about what happened to her on this platform. But here is when I visited Mitre Square and my experience just being there. So I'm here now in Mitre Square, and this is where Catherine Eddowes was found. Now, I have arrived at lunchtime, where everybody and their mothers are here at the moment, all having lunch. It's pretty much the entire city of London have decided to come out for their lunch. But just over there, I'll circle it now for you, is the place where it's believed Catherine Eddowes' body was found. This place was full of businesses, so it was an easy way for, well, criminals to actually come and basically raid the places. There were warehouses, and it was rife for criminal activity. So the place was actually every 15 minutes, police would come round here and make sure that basically nobody was being up to no good, so to speak. So for the killer to do what he did in such a short amount of time was pretty much horrendous, really. And for him to escape as well, knowing full well that not only the place is riddled with people, but every 15 minutes a police officer could walk past. And obviously, it was just brazen of him to think he could just do it and, well, get away with it, which is what he did. Or she did. But this is Mitre Square, and I am sitting a few yards away from where Catherine Eddowes was found dead. It's amazing. Before we go any further, just wanted to say thank you for taking the time just to watch this. It's something a little bit different. If you want the full history of the Jack the Ripper murders, there is a video, and it's not done by me, but I'll leave a link in the description below. It's Tours by London, and they do a very in-depth guide of the locations where the bodies were found and the whole story regarding these ladies. This is just a little video that I wanted to personally do myself, and just to let you guys experience what I experienced going to these places. So I just want to say thank you very much for just watching this little video of mine. Before we go on with the final victim, there was a place that I stumbled across by accident, and it was a place called the Working Lads Institute. It was actually the building where the inquests into the murders of Annie Chapman and Mary Nichols were actually done, in this very building. So as I was there, I got the camera out. Right here in the middle of Whitechapel, in the hustle and bustle of Whitechapel Road, which incidentally is brown on the Monopoly board. It's one of the cheap ones. You'll see the building right in front of me now, which is the Working Lads Institute. It's where the inquiry into the Jack the Ripper murders took place. One of the only buildings left around here, actually, which was still here in 1888. It's got a satellite dish. Strange, but just for your benefit, the satellite dish wasn't there in 1888. I don't think so. I need to check that. The Working Lads Institute. Crazy, actually, just standing here and seeing it. Madness. Mary Jane Kelly. She was born in 1863 in County Limerick, Ireland. She died on the 9th of November 1888. She lived at number 13 Miller's Court. She actually had her own property. It was her house. She missed a few payments from time to time, but it's this one day where actually missing a payment led to her body being discovered, and she was found in the most brutal way. A lady called Elizabeth Prater, who lived directly adjacent to the deceased, heard somebody shouting around 3-4 o'clock in the morning, "Murder, murder." She took no notice. What you need to understand about Whitechapel during that time was murders happened a lot. Somebody shouting murder was pretty common. Thomas Bowyer worked for a landlord under the name of John McCarthy. Thomas was sent to Mary Jane Kelly's home. She was way behind on the rent. She was actually 6 weeks behind her payments. So Thomas went round, knocking on the door. Then he remembered the window at the side of the house was broken. What he discovered when he pulled back the flap of curtain to peek inside was something nobody should see. If you want to know exactly what happened, I urge you to once again watch the video in the link in the description. It will give you a full, in-depth idea of what happened. And what I can tell you is that parts of her were all over the room where she was found. Her breasts had been removed and placed in different areas of the house. Her breasts had been removed. One of them was found with her uterus and her kidneys under her head. Her other breast was found by her right foot. Some of her skin had been cut and neatly folded and placed on a side table. That's all I'm willing to say about that, safely. There's also another link in the description below which you can click on. That link will take you to what is believed to be the world's first ever crime scene photograph. In that photograph you will see in detail the state of the room and the state of the body. If you are interested in seeing that, it is unedited and it is available in the link in the description below. It can be widely seen on the internet anyway, so it's nothing that has been found illegally, if you like, you know, but so the picture is there to be seen. But to save you the trouble of Googling it, I will put it in the link in the description below. But here is when I managed to get as close as I possibly could to that final crime scene. So right in front of me now, where Miller's Court, Dorset Street, and Miller's Court was located. You can probably just see it there. Whitechapel. And you can't see it now, but I'll take you round there in a bit. It'll be Dorset Street, sorry, the 10 Bells pub, but right in front of us now is where Dorset Street actually stood. Now it's an office market with certain shops, but literally right in front of me, probably 200 yards, and just on the right would have been Miller's Court. And one day, yeah, Mary Kelly was found. And she was in a pretty bad way. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but let's just say that bits and pieces of her were found around the room. Some of her intestines were hanging off the wall. And she could have done with one of these at the time. But of course, they weren't available. To be fair, I don't think an ambulance would have saved her, to be fair. And that's right in front of us here. Obviously, it's weird to think that the Ripper himself would have come out of there and actually looked up at the clock. It's weird to think that happened there, like, what, 137 years ago? And I can confirm this area does not piss like the other places. So yeah, this would have been here. This was erected in 1860. Who knows? Jack the Ripper himself might have actually took a drink out of this very drinking fountain. So what I think I'm going to do is pop to the 10 Bells pub for a pint if it's open. The 10 Bells pub is probably the location where most of these women who were killed frequented. There's a very good chance that Jack the Ripper himself would have actually gone and drank in this pub, or at least gone in there to look for his victims. I was lucky enough to go and visit the 10 Bells pub. There were quite a few other people in there, so I was limited to what I can film. So I filmed the bathroom. Look at these taps. I'm in the bathroom of the 10 Bells pub. These taps are brilliant. It's like you're actually washing your hands in like a trough. Like, that's brilliant. Just thought I'd share that with you. I'm at the 10 Bells pub having a drink. It's alright in here. The staircase is dodgy as hell. Very uneven. the 10 Bells pub. Jack the Ripper probably drank a beer here. How weird's that? Yeah, the 10 Bells pub, £7.50 for 1 pint of beer. But to experience history in there is, yeah, it's pretty cool. Glad I went in. So that's it. Like I said, this was just a short video of my experience going to these locations, and I can honestly say, knowing a little bit about the murders of Jack the Ripper, and I've watched several documentaries and even movies based on the events of what happened in 1888, it was quite humbling in a way to actually go to these places and where these ladies frequented quite a lot. And yes, they were on hard times, and yes, they were trying to make ends meet, and yes, they were probably up to no good. Well, they were up to no good, but they were just trying to survive. And in the shadows, they were being hunted by person or persons unknown. And just to be there and just think about what actually happened at these locations was a little bit frightening in a way, to know that I was literally walking in the footsteps of Jack the Ripper. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and if you know anybody that might be interested in this, then please just share it out. It'll be great if you can. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate all of you, and just thanks for watching this little video of mine. Take it easy.
Footsteps behind, whispers in the dark. Silent laughs we calls out loud. The unseen gathers a restless crowd. Abandoned halls, a haunting grin. Doors creak open, shadows within. The veil is thin, the answers fade.